Over to the LegacyRetirementGroup.com phone line. Let's welcome in our guest, Mike Carey, Congressman, Ohio's 15th District. Michael, good morning. How are you, my friend?
I'm well. Good morning to you.
Thanks for spending some time with us. One of the big stories this morning, political story, is the story about Joe Kent, the National Counterterrorism Center director. He resigned his position, saying that there was not an imminent threat from Iran, and that we got dragged into this conflict by Israel. Now, a couple of things here. I've heard some non-reportable items about Joe Kent and his credibility, and I won't get into that. It's a different conversation. But, Mike, Iran has been a threat my entire life. I mean, they hate us. I mean, one of my earliest political memories, and I think we're about the same age, is the Iranian hostage crisis in the early 80s. They've always been a threat, Mike.
Well, they certainly have, but I think you have to differentiate yourself between the religious leadership that took power after the fall of the Shah, and I think unfortunately, and I've talked to a lot of folks that we have a lot of people from Iranian descent that came in to our country afterwards, and I think it's hard people to remember this. I mean, we remember the when you would watch TV and it would have the countdown of how many days our troops had been, or our folks had been in Tehran, but as hostages. But I think what people have to remember is when the Shah, when there was that revolution, most of the people in Iran really didn't know who the Ayatollah was. This was a guy that was a religious dissident who was sent to France, and the people of Iran at the time were really they were trying to revolt against the fact that they didn't have housing. People were in a position where they weren't being able to actually meet ends meet, and so there was a revolution. But most of the people of Iran did not hate Americans, and it became, quite frankly, it became a mess right after the Ayatollah came into power. So I think you have to differentiate yourself between those folks and the people of Iran. But the religious clerics that were in control of Iran, and that's what we've seen. Those were the people that continually wanted to have nuclear weapons, and I think you saw the president trying to negotiate, the administration trying to negotiate. They were not going to do it, and having a nuclear Iran would have been dangerous, the number one terror sponsor nation in the world. So, yeah, I think this is something that came to a head, and obviously I think we were very specific in what we were targeting, but I think right now what we're seeing is, there's going to be a lot of palace intrigue, if you will, because there always is.
Sure, of course. Congressman Mike Carey, our guest, and unfortunately, Mike, one of the prices we pay in these military conflicts is loss of life, and last week that KC-135 refueling jet based out of Rickenbacker crashed, and all 6 airmen, including 3 Ohioans, lost their life. And you're going to be attending the dignified transfer of their bodies at Dover tomorrow when they arrive home. Or that's today, actually.
No, that is today. So we were supposed to be there yesterday, and I don't know whether, if folks were watching, we had tremendous storms in the Washington, D.C. area. My flight, and many of our flights were canceled across the country, and so the plan was to have that dignified transfer yesterday. But unfortunately, the families couldn't make it to Dover, so we rescheduled it for today. I know there's a large group. I believe Senator John Husted will be attending. Troy Balderson will be attending. I will be attending. We have 2 of those individuals, whether it's Simons or Angst, that would be coming from. One was from Columbus, the other is from Wilmington, Ohio. Just tragic stories, and for people that know Captain Angst, I mean, this was somebody in Clinton County, which is a county of about 35,000 people, and that's the county where I grew up, and so a lot of the people that I know went to church with family members, and of course Simmons was just such a wonderful person, and so. But you're going to have people from all over the country that we will be making that trip today, and it'll be something that boy, you just never want to go through that.
No, and we certainly keep those Gold Star families now in our 100%. Thoughts and prayers, and appreciate the service from those gentlemen. Switching gears to the partial government shutdown, DHS. This has gotten political, as it always does. The point
should not be surprising with this environment.
It is not surprising, Mike, but it is not the time to play games with national security.
No, it really isn't, and I'll tell you, I think if if any of your listeners are going over to the airport today, or if they're going anytime this week, the one thing Megan and I were at the airport over the weekend, and I saw lines that were for the American airline. For your listeners that know the airport, the line for the airport, or the line for American Airlines, went all the way over to the Delta. I've never seen that. And when you talk to these the TSA agents, I mean, you have to feel for them. I mean, they're not getting paid, and this is not the right time to do it. And so, I know that there will be some debate in the Senate, but my hope is that they can get this thing through. This is not the right time to do it. I mean, we know what we're hearing about the threats of attack on our country, and even the things that we don't completely know. But this is not the right time to be doing it. And again, we saw the weather, we saw the wind, and a lot of the wind damage. We saw that in Central Ohio, but it was across the country. And we're not paying FEMA. Coast Guard, we're not paying Coast Guard. This is just not the right time to be doing it and playing politics with this partial government shutdown.
Congressman, is there a way, and this may be not a popular stance here, but is there a way to pull out funding for ICE? Because that's really what's at the issue here is, and I know Republicans want full funding without conditions. Yeah. I might lean towards, how do we pull ICE out of this? Put that on a shelf. Let's talk about that separately. Let's fund the TSA. I'm going on spring break in a couple of weeks. I don't want to wait in line at the airport. Let's fund FEMA. Let's fund the Coast Guard. Let's fund the Border Patrol. And then let's have that common sense discussion about ICE. Is that reasonable?
Here's what I think. I think you're going to find a lot of different conversations that are going to take place. I mean, I think if you just simply passed, I think if the Senate were to just pass what we passed in the House, it would make it easy. I think the issue of any time you're trying to change the discussion, when do you move the goalpost? And I think that comes from both sides. I think right now you have the SAVE Act, which is being debated over in the Senate. You have certain members that are saying, well, whatever the Senate, if something is changed and the Senate does something, if they don't pass the SAVE Act, we shouldn't take it up in the House. You saw some of the members that didn't vote on pieces of legislation that came over from the Senate last night because of their concern that the Senate wasn't moving the SAVE Act. So when you have a one-vote majority, and that's what we have here right now, I think anytime, if there was one side, whether they had 45 votes on either side, I think you could see legislation move. But it is, if the Senate could just take up what we did in the House, I think everything would be smooth.
I would love to see that happen. I just, as would I. I just don't see it happening. All right, so you got some stuff happening in the district. This is cool. You got a Service Academy information session. What's this about?
Well, I think this is something that we've worked with Congressman Troy Balderson together, and we have this all around Central Ohio. So everybody that's listening, we've got what we call our Service Academy information seminars for young folks that would like to have a service career, and that's in all of our academy branches. We've got one that will be at St. Charles in Columbus. We have another that'll be in Plain City, one in Pickerington, one in Grove City, and one in Newark. And that'll be primarily for Central Ohio, and that is both for those students and families that are in Troy Balderson's district or in the 15th Congressional, which is ours. But that is on our website. It's a great opportunity, and I tell everybody this is, when you're looking at one of the things that we do as members of Congress and giving them that recommendation or giving them that appointment, that is something that really is a life-changing experience in service to their country. I mean, and the nice thing is a lot of times you can get younger students in, and they realize what they need to do in order to make the steps so that they can go to the academy. And I'll tell you, it's a great opportunity for young folks all over. And so we're trying to open it up citywide, regionally wide, and that's why we're partnering with Troy on that.
That's a great effort there. I appreciate that very much. And also the Congressional Art Competition. What's that about?
Well, Well, I mean, I think you and I have talked about this before. The humanities is something that I truly believe in, and one of the things that we have tried to do, and I know Joyce Beatty does a great job of this as well. So I think she probably has the same type of thing on her site. And if you happen to live in Joyce Beatty's district or you live in ours and you call Joyce's, I mean, we work together very closely. But this is a way to honor those students that, you know, this is the thing that we do, where we bring in artwork from all across the congressional districts. We bring them in. We have a competition. It's judged by, you know, some very good judges that are from all over the district, and then ultimately the winner will be hanging in the Capitol here in
That's cool.
Washington D.C. Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity, and we walk by this every single day when we're voting, and you see the artwork, and you know, for somebody like me. You know, I was not as far as art. I did play music and I did acting, but I never was able to really master paints or drawings. But I'll tell you see some of the artwork that these young students have done, and it is amazing. And but it's a great way to honor that skill and honor the people that are teaching our arts in the schools, because I think that's something that truly is something that is lacking, and we just want to highlight that because it is something very important.
All right, so tomorrow at 12:15, the Buckeyes take on TCU. March Madness, first game, kicks off the tournament. Where will you be watching?
Well, the problem is I won't be watching. I will have it on my phone, and I'm sure that while I'm on the floor, we'll try to keep. You know, I kind of sit with some of the Ohioans, and so I'm sure that we'll be watching the scores very closely, though.
Very good. Yeah, it is in the middle of the workday, after all.
That's right. It's weird how those things work out.
Congressman, I appreciate your time. Great to hear your voice. We'll talk again soon. It's Mike Carey, Ohio's 15th district.